Have you ever noticed that nobody ever talks about stress management until after they've already started to experience stress? It's kind of like falling into the deep end of the swimming pool and asking the lifeguard to start giving you swimming lessons then. Or maybe going on a hike with your wife and about halfway through realizing just how far out of shape you are. Well, in chapter 4 of Philippians, Paul gives us a strategy for dealing with stress. He writes, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God." It's that with thanksgiving part that we realize is Paul's secret. When we celebrate the things that God is doing in our lives is when we begin to find peace. But if you're not used to looking for God's good works, it's kind of like trying to learn how to swim while you're in the process of drowning. It reminds me of a story that I heard about Abraham Lincoln. He was walking through the forest when he came across a man chopping down a tree with an obviously dull axe. He said to the man that he should stop and sharpen his axe. And the man replied, "I know, I don't have time for that." Now, I don't know if that's exactly how things went down for Abraham Lincoln, but we do know that he has a quote that goes like this: "If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." The Apostle Paul says the same thing in verse 8 when he writes, "Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things." He is telling us to practice looking for God. In August of 2016, Ross Gay celebrated his 42nd birthday. Dr. Gay is an award-winning poet with a PhD in American literature from Temple University, and he teaches at Indiana University in Bloomington. On that day, he challenged himself to write an essay about something he was thankful for every day for the next year. At first, he thought it was going to be really hard. And the truth is, at first, he was right. Finding good things to write about didn't come easy. But after just a few weeks, he realized that there were lots of wonderful things happening around him all the time. He took a notebook with him everywhere he went to write down things that might be worthy of an essay. And he ended up filling up several notebooks. In fact, one of his essays is called "A Pile of Delights," which is what he liked to call them. Essentially, he was thankful for all the things that he could be thankful for. Here's the important part. In an interview with Dr. Gay, asking about his experience, he was asked, "Did spending time every day reflecting on things that you were thankful for change you?" And he answered like this: "Absolutely. I also discovered in the course of writing this that so much of what inspired or uncovered or unveiled delight was so often personal interactions. So I became acutely aware that delight is sort of a manifestation of interdependence." Not only did reflecting on Thanksgivings change his attitude, but it helped him to realize just how much we must appreciate the relationships we have with the people around us. What we spend our time thinking about, who we spend our time with, or what we spend our time doing shapes us into who we become. The psalmist writes in Psalm 23, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." My cup overflows. What does your cup overflow with? The law of the fruit is dependent upon the law of exposure. What you surround yourself with is what's filling your cup. The challenge is this: be intentional about what fills your cup. Have an eye for the delightful. Be aware of what God is doing in the world around you. Open the eyes of your heart to see the world as God sees it. When the challenges of life hit you, it is much easier to maintain a perspective of God than it is to obtain a perspective of God. We keep ourselves sharp by making sure that our cup is overflowing with the good stuff of God. So here's what I'd like you all to reflect on here in the next week. I'd like you to think about just the last 24 hours. Come up with 3 good things that you've seen God do in your life or in the life of somebody around you. After you've come up with those 3 things, I want you to pick one of them to really think more deeply about. And with that one, I want you to ask these 3 questions of yourself. What about this thing means so much to you? What can you do tomorrow to enable more of this good thing? And in what ways did you or someone else contribute to this good thing? I look forward to hearing what you all have to say about this. In fact, if you like, you can leave comments down below and share them with everybody else. And wouldn't be a bad idea maybe to throw in a few of the good things that you're experiencing in life with one another. Thank you so much, and may God bless you and keep you.